Well, we're going to look at the whole gamut of the tobacco growing deal here today. And I'm actually starting with some seed. You can see those flowering tops on that tobacco plant there. It's crispy down here. It's about 108 degrees today down in Texas. And I watered half of these beds last night. Some of these didn't get it, but we're still pulling tomatoes and some peppers and actually some arugula sprouted up down there. Still good. But anyway, tobacco, like you can see, I've been stripping leaves off of these tobacco plants, and I might grab a couple more of them yellowish ones. But yeah, I've been pulling it in. This is about the third time. A friend gave me this one, different variety, but we'll see what that turns out. But I've got ones that, we're barely making it, and some of these had a hard start. You might have seen my earlier video about I was transplanting little tiny baby seeds, and they were too tiny to be transplanting. And so some of them did better than others, and this girl, she's got there's another stalk back there. You got 3 stalks on there. I've harvested quite a bit off of there, and you got the flowering and seeding going on there. So I'm going to, I'll probably cut this head here and get those seeds off for next year. I like this cultivar. It made, obviously, a giant plant, and it's a nice tobacco. Snip that off. I could feel those seeds raining all over my hand when I did that. But hey there, Kona. But I'm gonna take those seeds, and I've got some other seeds in the house there. Pardon my filming skills, but damn it, Jim, I'm a gardener, not a film producer. Oh, there's a nice big old red tomato on there. We're gonna have to get that tonight. We've been making some really, really good hot sauces here lately. But bear with me here. I'm gonna get inside of the house, and I want to take a look at this seed, and I want to take a look at all the different stages of harvesting that's going on right now. There's quite a bit of stuff. I'll show you. Back here to Alio's world here. It's all going on. All right, there we go. So there's those seeds, and there's some of the last year's seeds right there. You can see there's about 1 million of them in there. They are so tiny here. I'm gonna blow it up a little bit for a second here. You see how tiny those guys are. They're almost like sand. So what we got going on, we got 3 or 4 things going on. I've got the seeds, and of course we're skipping the seedling growing stage, but here's the harvest that happened just yesterday, and that's about 45 of those leaves. And I did set them out in the sun, on the grass in the front yard, for about 24 hours. We had a good hot day to take some of the water out of them. If you saw an earlier video where we were smashing these veins to try to get some of that vein water out of the plant a little quicker, and it turned out what I think happened, I mean, it's a good experiment, but what I think happened was we crushed those veins to let the water evaporate out quicker, but when we had the tobacco in the boxes curing, getting ready to put into their jars, some molding happened, and I think it happened because of the fast water that was being released out of those veins, making these wet spots inside the box and between the paper towels that were holding those things. And these ones seemed to do just fine without doing any of that stuff to veins. And also, that was all fun and games and all, but unnecessary. So anyway, you take one of these little pods here, and you pinch that thing, and look at that. That's enough tobacco seed out of that one pod. People sell tobacco seed for, golly, it's like $5 a gram or something like that. Or $5 per, oh, it's like $5 per 100 seeds or something, just wildly expensive, considering that the one plant will make, God, I don't know, millions and millions of seeds. So we got that like initial, kind of get them started to drying. You don't want to dry them out completely. If they get crispy while they're green, you'll never recover it from that. And it'll never turn into that nice brown tobacco. So after the, getting it ready for the boxes this year, the process was to get it partially just dried a little bit like I did, to where they're not dry or crispy or anything. They're just a little floppy, from being. And now this, let's start at the end here. That jar is leaves that about 3 months ago, I was pulling some of the first leaves off. And so it's a nice wad, big wad of quite a bit of smoke. That's feeling a little bit, tiny bit on the dry side. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these leaves that's, these little guys like that in there. And I'm just going to stick them in there with that and let them steam up. And, steam up, the dry will suck the water out of those and moisten up that brown, because I want to keep that brown slowly doing that long-term ferment. It's sort of like fermenting. But now this box, and I'm going to need the room. I'm going to need the box to get those guys into. So these ones, that is a nice brown, nice feel. Still a tiny bit of some moisture in there, and now that one is going to need more time in the box. That one might be ready for the jar. See, that one's just starting to do the color change thing. This guy's going to be ready to put into a jar. And I'll probably have to open that jar up and let it breathe. That one's still pretty moist. Oh, there's a nice big beauty. That'll go to the jars. So I'll be pulling all these ones that are ready to go into the jars. And I'll probably just stick them in a big old gallon jar and let them age like those did. This other box, now this one is a box that I pulled up. Oh, these are all nice and brown and have a nice feel. Maybe this is the box that was the oldest one, because these are the purple box and the orange box. These are two different sets of leaves, two different harvest dates. And I think this purple one might be they're all brown. It might be the older one. So it'll probably be these ones, maybe some of those that'll go into a jar. And that's going to free up this box for me to layer these guys in there, in between their paper towels to dry out in these boxes, because I do not have a tobacco barn that we're going to be able to hang these things up in and do it that way. So this is the way, with the boxes, to get it done in your apartment or in your house or wherever you do that kind of stuff. So this is kind of just a state of the progressing tobacco report, and really to get a glimpse of kind of the flow of things from, when it's coming off the plant and into its first boxes, and then into those long-term jars, and then finally we'll take it to the paper cutter and slice it up into those little ribbons, and then turn it sideways and slice the ribbons into squares and throw it in the blender, and we'll be smoking.